Hi, my name is Saul.
Hi, my name is Wendell Holland.
My name is Brandon Donlin.
Hey everybody, this is Mike Gabler, the Alligabler, coming to you live on Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Welcome, everyone, to an emergency episode of Survivor Squared. If you've seen the thumbnail, if you've seen the caption, you know chaos has erupted in the world of reality TV. It takes so much time and effort to go through the casting of a series, to film an entire series, to edit an entire series, and then have all the PR media push with this episode, a premiere episode of a flagship show on a big-time channel in prime time, set to debut not only days, mere hours away. And then to take that all and rip it apart and throw away the key to cancel a show as big as The Bachelorette mere hours before it's supposed to premiere. Some chaos had to happen. And so I had to jump on this podcast. I had to get an expert to come on this podcast and jump on with me. If you're a fan of this show for a long time, you've known her. She came on. We talked about another scandal that was happening in Survivor, and I'm happy to have her here right now, the reality scholar herself. Welcome back to the show, Miss Tess Higgins. Thank you for coming on, Tess, first off.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Oh, what a day.
What a day is right. And I feel like you are my go-to whenever the shoe drops in the world of reality TV, because I have my thoughts and I can read what I can read, but you seem to be very much in the weeds here. And you actually thought about this for a while on your channels, that with all the steam that was coming out, with all the stories that were coming out, the way the public was attacking what was going on here, you kind of had a sense there was a chance Bachelorette could cancel this thing. I saw the videos you put out there, and I thought there's no way in hell that they're just going to power through. Traitors Season 4, just power through all the bad PR. We'll get through it in the end. But they officially pulled the plug here, and we're going to go through all those ramifications. But when that news dropped, what was the first thought you had that Bachelorette was canceled?
I was like, oh, okay. Like, there it is. Because as soon as the video came out, I was like, it's done. Like, there's no way. And it almost feels inevitable since, I want to say, like, since the news of new incidents started coming out around like Monday, but I would go as far as to say this has been inevitable even further back, or as close as the release of, you know, the recent season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives that came out a week ago today. Because the way it portrays Taylor's storyline and relationship to Dakota, it's like so wild. And it's like, how am I supposed to root for you now based on what I've seen in season 4? So she already had that working against her. And now all this other news, it's like one thing after another. It's just a house of cards fell apart.
Literally, one battle after another, an Oscar winner. Taylor Frankie Paul, for those who don't know what we're talking about here, Taylor Frankie Paul from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, a show I've never seen before, was set to be The Bachelorette. They filmed the whole season. She apparently, who knows, found love, gave out a rose. It was all said and done for. And then news came out that she was, there was some type of a domestic violence, some type of an allegation that happened very recently. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives had to stop filming season 5 because of this. And then stuff came out in the past with Taylor Frankie Paul and her boyfriend, some type of ex-boyfriend, Dakota Mortensen, and that they had a
baby
whole
daddy,
baby daddy's the best way to put it. And they had a domestic violence situation back in 2023 where there were child endangerment accusations brought up. All of this came to light, came into court, was settled, but now is being brought up again as The Bachelorette hits its heyday here and hits the high mark of it about to come out. And as you said, and what you said there, the real final straw of this was TMZ leaking a video from what we assume to be Dakota's phone of Taylor assaulting him, throwing stools all over the place. The child is sitting on the couch. A really disgusting scene, if I can say so myself. And that was the final nail in the coffin where ABC came out and said it's all over. As you said, this is a long time coming, but did I miss any of the bullet points here on the build to it?
No, I mean, I think that's all pretty accurate. And it sounds like the recent incidents that, you know, I don't think there's anything official yet, but there have been calls to the police in Draper City, Utah, and like there have been, I guess, investigations or into these allegations. And it was allegedly, well, not allegedly, one of the women came out from Secret Mormon Lives today on her Instagram, Michaela, and mentioned that it was the women's idea, like the cast of women, to stop filming. Like it was their decision where they were like, we don't want to do this right now. And what the real reasons were behind that, whether it's they want to separate themselves from Taylor or they want her to get help, or they're using that as leverage as a way for the show to finally address this behavior. That's all, who knows? But I think that's interesting too, that the women were able to like kind of use their power and make everything stop.
No, absolutely. So. That's a nugget. That's why you're here. That's a nugget that I need to know, because it definitely colors the situation a little bit. But for those who don't know who Taylor Frankie Paul is or Dakota is, they came from the world of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So describe that relationship, because apparently it's been on the rocks for the entirety of that show.
Yeah. So her, kind of the way that Taylor rose to fame was being part of like an online group of Mormon momfluencers on TikTok. They called themselves like Mom Talk. And there was a swinging scandal in Mom Talk. So Taylor had her first husband, Tate. Her and Tate, I guess, were involved in this like swinging scandal, which was more like soft swinging, I guess. And some people who were said to be involved in it deny it. Anyway, kind of because of this scandal, they end up getting this show, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Taylor has since moved on from her ex-husband and has started dating this guy, Dakota, who is the one in the video and all these, you know, incidents going forward. And the very first episode of the season starts with season 1 starts with addressing the incident that's seen in the video that came out today. The thing is that nobody had that video. We saw the body cam footage of her arrest in the show, but we kind of knew the situation. But I'll be honest myself, like when I watched the video today, I was like, oh my God, like I had no idea it was like that. Like I got like chills watching it. It felt like I was seeing something I wasn't supposed to. And, you know, so that's who she was dating at the time. She ends up getting pregnant. They have a child together. Her and Dakota are not married, but they've basically been like back and forth dating, not hooking up, not, she gets mad at him for hooking up with people even when they're not together. It's a really, really, really toxic relationship. And it's a hard watch. It's a really hard watch. Because I don't know, I also have to think too, these women in the Mormon world who get married and have babies so young, like I just have to imagine developmentally, they are still young, you know, in their maturity level. They just like kind of never got to be a real adult if you're having children as young as like 18, 19, whatever. And my mature brain is like, oh, if someone treated me like that, I'd never talk to them again. Like what? And then you watch this play out, and especially in this season 4, and you're like, this woman's not ready to be the Bachelorette. This is crazy. Who thought it was a good idea to pick her?
That's what I keep coming around to. I understand. I mean, CBS is doing this with Survivor. They're putting people on the show that have interesting pasts, even though they're coming back for season 50, because they hold that name value. They're having all these celebrities come on, the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol, or Zach Brown coming to do a reward and go spearfishing. Like, all these things are happening because you're trying to get those eyeballs. You're trying to get in the news. And shows like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette are staples, but I guarantee that the ratings aren't what they used to be. And so these teams are trying to find ways, how do we bump up these ratings? Let's get this hot name in the world of reality TV and put her on a pedestal of The Bachelorette. However, ABC has to know this past and has to know what has happened to get Taylor where she is today. And so they know they're putting a spotlight on a potential person that it could blow up in their faces. So I'm wondering what the guardrails were to having this, because it's not just a random spin-off show. This is The Bachelorette. This is a staple of the channel. When she was cast as the Bachelorette, Tess, was there anything coming up about like this is an interesting decision, or were people mostly gung-ho about this?
It was definitely a mix. And, you know, it was one of those things where for me, like The Bachelor was the reason I got into reality TV. Like I have a soft spot for the franchise for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
so on one hand, I was very much like, this is exciting. This like, because this is so different than anything they've done. People are finally going to watch this, and maybe this is going to resurrect the show that I love.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's exciting. And you know, she just demands attention. She's just one of those people that people want to watch, and
Yeah.
it could change things. But on the other hand, it's like in any other situation, we would be like, oh, why are we picking this person to be the Bachelor? Like if it was like a regular, oh, we're just picking someone from the season who came before, generally it's supposed to be the most like awesome, like cool, normal person. Like even so as far as like a lot of the like just classic regular white dudes that they like, and we've criticized them for that over and over. I'm like, man, it'd be nice if we just had a regular boring person right now. Like, and so if there was someone that had these incidents and this behavior and the two baby daddies and everything, like we'd be like, that person's not a catch. And so in my head, I kind of rationalized it as like this is a thing that they are doing right now because it's an emergency. They need to get the show back on the rails. This season is almost like it doesn't count. Like it's not about like, you know, the love story or anything. Like it's just to get people to watch so that next season we can go back to like kind of doing the normal thing that we used to do where we go back and cast someone from the season prior. So I was assuming that maybe they were using this to really boost up some guy in this cast for everyone to really like to shine a light on and be like, this is going to be our Bachelor. You guys are going to love him. He's one of our best Bachelors yet. And now maybe that's not going to happen either. So
you gotta feel for the gentlemen that were on this show as The Bachelor that went through, you know, we know a couple of these reality TV people now, like they're legit regular people and have to likely, you know, change up their lives to go film this for however long they're filming it, whether they're the job that they currently have lets them go or not. Like they go and take their chance to go film this thing. And now that's all gone. We will never see this footage, likely never see this footage. We will never create these stars, like you said. We will never create the next Bachelor from this crop of gentlemen. These stories will never get told. And the fact that it's pulled now, like this is done. I guarantee you they've shown this. They've sent the tapes out to people who are like review The Bachelor and The Bachelorette for their jobs. Like videos are out there and they're pulling it this quickly and this abruptly because again, TMZ released the footage of this altercation and it all came crumbling down as fast as possible. Disney released a statement, or I guess ABC technically released a statement. In light of the newly released video just surfaced today, we have made the decision to not move forward with the new season of The Bachelorette at this time, and our focus is on supporting the family. That statement is from the Disney Entertainment Television, a spokesperson from them. So they were very much blaming the video itself and not anything else. So if this video never comes to light, Tess, do you think this show goes on as if nothing's wrong?
Yeah. I mean, they were still like posting as of this morning. Like it was funny because I texted my mom when the news came out. I was like, Bachelorette's over. She loves the show too. And then like 20 minutes later, she sent me a screenshot of like an Instagram post from the Bachelorette that she was like, but it says it's moving to Sunday nights. And I was like, yeah, they posted that this morning. Like, so as of this morning, I don't know, the train was still running. And like, you know, Taylor did a bunch of interviews yesterday and I watched them. They were a hard watch. The vibes were really low. And she was supposed to go on Jimmy Fallon last night. And then they axed that. And it makes me wonder, I was like, did ABC get a heads up that this video was going to drop tomorrow? And then they pulled her right away. So it's pretty crazy right now.
That's the lightest way to put it.
I do think that they probably would have pushed ahead because the thing is I don't know if they knew that this video was out there because it was clearly like part of the case against her. And I think it was used as evidence. So I'm not sure how ABC could have like gotten their hands on that or seen it unless it was like Dakota personally sent that to them or Taylor had brought up like, hey, FYI, there is this video of the incident. But
Yeah.
I can see a world in which maybe they aren't aware, but I can also see a world in which they are and are just like, well, screw it. Like, no one's ever going to see it because it's part of like court stuff. Like, how would it ever get out? And of course, there's always a way, but you know.
I'm just trying to go through the ABC of it all because you're absolutely right. They do their due diligence. So they know they're going to pin a lot on this person as the Bachelorette. So they have to know the past. They have to know every nook and cranny about that. There are many lawyers that figure this stuff out. So I have to assume they knew that this video existed because this video was undoubtedly used in the cases that were brought up against these two or between these two. Like it's the smoking gun of the evidence room. It has to be seen by somebody. People have to know it exists. And so for ABC to have knowledge of it and say, there's no chance that this ever comes out is an unbelievable gamble that I cannot believe a network would take with something of this magnitude. Like, if Taylor was just one of the contestants on The Bachelor, then maybe they take that chance. But she is the headliner. She is on the billboards. Like, you cannot take that chance. And I'm kind of amazed that it happened.
And that's a good point, too, because even like, you know, The Bachelor has cast some people before who do have problematic pasts and things like this, but they're never promoted to like the lead, right? Mm-hmm. So even if there's a world in which like we've had like a villain Bachelor, like Juan Pablo or whatever, like they're villain just because they're kind of a jerk, not because they've done something super problematic or like gotten into a lot of legal trouble. So that's the big departure too.
Yeah. Speaking of departures and speaking of legal trouble, I do want to touch on very quickly the two statements put out by Taylor Frankie Paul's team. One of them came after the video had been released and before Disney cancels the show. And then one of them comes after the cancellation of the show. So the first one is, this is just in response to the video. A spokesperson for Taylor Frankie Paul said, "It's sad to see the latest installment of his being Dakota. It's sad to see the latest installment of his never-ending, desperate, attention-seeking, destructive campaign to harm Taylor without any regard for the consequences of their child." That is a heavy-hitting sentence to start. It continues. "Releasing an old video, which conveniently omits context, on their son's birthday is a reprehensible attempt to distract from his own behavior," his being Dakota's. "Thankfully, the public," that's us and you listening to the show, "thankfully the public has seen this act before and knows who he is, and sadly, many will recognize this pattern of manipulation, both in his actions on the show and from their own experiences." That is such a aggressive statement in the defense of someone who in a video is very much the aggressor. And I was really taken aback by that statement because they are going full guns blazing, like, you don't know the full story, we're omitting context, he's doing this to slight me, and it is an attack on Dakota, and very, very much not what I thought would be coming out in this situation. But I do believe that her team believed that ABC was fully behind Taylor when they put this out, right?
Yeah, that's what I have to think too. And I mean, I don't disagree with, like, I believe that there's Dakota has something going on as well. Like, I'm sure that there's two to tango here.
Yes.
But Dakota is not the Bachelorette, so that's not like who we're talking about right now, you know? And this was, as I was listening to Reality Steve went live with Game of Roses earlier today, and I was listening to it, and Steve brings up that, like, even if this is like we're missing the context of like Dakota provoking her or something, the really alarming thing is that the chair hits her child and her first instinct isn't to go help her child and be like, oh crap, that hurt my daughter. It's to continue along with the Dakota attack. And
yes,
especially after yesterday, she was on Good Morning America saying like, I'm a good mother. And it's like, oh boy, like, yeah, it's worst case scenario.
Absolutely worst case scenario. And as you said, as Reality Steve said, the chair hits the child and the mother doesn't go to check on the child. In that statement that I just read, she is using the child as a shield. How dare he do
Yeah,
this on
yeah.
our son's birthday? How dare he do this and make my child's life worse? Reality TV people make a decision to put themselves in the line of fire and in the public eye. And sometimes that comes at the cost of a child having a normal life. And yes, sometimes they get great riches and sometimes they better their lives in doing so because they are, this whole thing opens up to them and now they are in a different stratosphere when it comes to publicity and celebrity and all that stuff. And it does make those lives a lot better. But this incident in particular and everything else surrounding it, the children are going to grow up and know that this happened. The children are going to grow up and potentially see what we're talking about right now about their mom and about their dad, which is insane. And the fact that Taylor in that statement uses her son as a shield, that was the biggest thing that irked me of that entire thing that she said. Very quickly, though, the statement she gives out after the cancellation is a lot less aggressive.
Yeah.
This comes from, again, a spokesperson for Taylor. Taylor is very grateful for ABC's support as she prioritizes her family's safety and security. After years of silently suffering extensive mental and physical abuse, as well as threats of retaliation, Taylor is finally gaining the strength to face her accuser and taking the steps to ensure that she and her children are protected from any further harm. Continues with, there are too many women who are suffering in silence as they survive aggressive, jealous ex-partners who refuse to let them move on with their lives. Taylor has remained silent out of fear of further abuse, retaliation, and public shaming. She is currently exploring all of her options, seeking support, and preparing to own and share her story. Listen, as you said, Dakota is no innocent man. Dakota is no rosebud here. He certainly has stuff going on with him. And clearly in that statement, she is very much saying that, like, you guys don't know what has happened to me. Stuff has happened to me as well. Fear of him lashing out, fear of all that stuff has stopped me from talking about this. I will in the future be preparing my own and sharing my story. But again, the difference in tenor in those two statements after ABC cancels the show is pretty apparent. And sadly, Tess, I don't think this story is going anywhere.
No, it's just getting started, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. What does ABC, you're a fan of this show, you're a fan of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Obviously, however many episodes, 12, 13, 14 episodes of primetime television now need to be filled over the next 14 Sundays here. But I ask you, as a fan of the two franchises, where does The Bachelor/Bachelorette go from here?
It's we're in like uncharted territory, which is so nuts. Like the only thing that's like closest to this, I think, was like when they have filmed their season in COVID times. They had a bachelorette who by like episode 3 was like, I've decided who I want to leave the show with him. And so they replaced her with Tayshia and she finished out the rest of the season. Of course, there's no like problematic behavior or, legal issues there. That's just like someone being replaced. So that's like the only kind of like data point that I'm like really going off of. And of course that was while episodes were filming. So we don't really, these are all done.
Yeah.
I think if like they were letting me sit at the boardroom table, this is what I would say is for the next, how many weeks in that slot, you air like one of the most beloved seasons of The Bachelorette. Like maybe go back to Hannah Brown or JoJo or something. Just put it in that slot. Remind people of like the good old days of like what you love about this show. And then whoever that guy was in Taylor's cast that you wanted to make The Bachelor, you start filming his season right now. And because you probably have the budget for it already. And get it done and get it out as soon as possible. And kind of move fast enough that like eventually there's something else to talk about. Because I think the only way we get away from this news is there being another show to talk about. And for at least like 2 to 3 months, there will not be. So
No, I kind of like that idea, and I kind of like Tess in the boardroom pitching that idea because, again, there have been so many seasons, and I'm sure so many lovable Bachelor and Bachelorette, so many lovable
Yeah.
episodes. Survivor is showing you that sometimes these nostalgia polls do really work, and all people want to see is the old fans that they know and love
Yeah.
come back and play one more time. So whatever they can cobble together very quickly here, even if it is sort of reruns of greats, maybe, sort of the old school DVDs when DVDs first came out, the director commentaries of these episodes. Bring the Bachelor and Bachelorettes back to commentate on the episodes that we all saw. Give us something. That way you can fill these hours and still rekindle the feelings of what that show used to give you. And at the same time, if there is a star to be made from the lost footage of this Bachelorette, then let's make that star and let's turn this somehow into a positive thing. Last thing I'll ask you, Tess, because again, thank you for jumping on this show.
Oh my gosh,
Spur of the
course.
moment, emergency podcast, breaking down a crazy, crazy day. Crazy day. Do you think this whole scenario, now that ABC has fully pulled the plug on this season and we don't know what's happening, they're stopping filming, as you said, the ladies of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives said we need to put a pause on this. Do you think this whole thing affects that show in any way, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?
Absolutely. I think it's either dead or it goes on without Taylor. Yeah, I just can't. Given how hot the temperature is right now, I can't see it moving forward in the capacity in which it exists.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not.
Which I feel
obviously
bad for all those women too, because now
Yeah.
their livelihoods are kind of screwed with because of Taylor's drama as well.
Well, I was going to say, is she top billing on that show? I've never really seen
Yep.
that show. Yeah, so
Yeah,
she's
like,
the one.
The middle of the lineup, the centerpiece of the promo photos. So,
Oh man.
yeah.
Wow. What a day. Reality TV. I remember seeing a play in college called It Never Gets Soft, and it took me a while to realize what that title meant. It's a metaphor on life. Life is always hard. It never gets soft, and neither does reality TV. Scandals will continue to emerge, and we will continue to cover them, and I'll still keep calling Tess on the emergency bat phone to be like, need you to come in, explain the situation, and talk about the scandal. For Tess Higgins, for Tony Squares, this is Survivor Squared. We'll be back next week talking about Survivor Season 50, breaking down Episode 5. And with that, we'll see you when we see you.